Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about The Gifted Season 1, Episode 7. It is called Extreme Measures. Full spoilers for the episode as always. I feel like the word extreme is going to get abused in these titles, because whenever they can't think of another way to get the X in there, I feel like extreme in front of another thing is the easy path to take.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? It's just, it's a cop-out word.
Yeah, because they can just throw it in front of anything. I want to call this episode Justice. Call it Extreme Justice. Done.
Yeah.
Extreme and extraordinary. I feel like those are two words that they can just throw in front of almost anything, and it'll work, it'll fit, and they can get away with it. But anyway, we're going to talk about the episode itself, not the title, for the next 20-30 minutes, however long we spend on these. I feel like we spend more time on these than I usually expect, but I think it's just because there's so many characters doing different things every episode that we end up having a lot to kind of cycle through. But we'll see how this one goes. So I have to kind of start this one off in a negative light, because I really didn't like much of this episode, or much of what was in it.
Oh, good. Because I'm the same.
I think this is even weaker than last week's episode, which hurts to say, because obviously because last week we were down on a lot of it, and we're kind of hoping it'll bounce back up. And in this episode, I feel like there was more forced drama. It's going in directions with certain plots that we thought we'd actually avoided, and now it seems to be pivoting back towards what we didn't want. And some elements are just feeling really forced this week. So we'll tackle plot by plot. Do we start with the what's his name, Wes, the awful love interest for Lauren?
Yeah, why not?
Because he So here's the thing: the plot related to him this episode is kind of the whole family's involved. Lauren's seen him a little bit more, and as they're looking through the hard drive with all the info they stole last episode, Reed finds that this guy's he's been in pretty serious criminal sort of incidents. He's been using his powers to steal from people in kind of harsh ways, and he's wanted for a lot of things. And it sounds like it's beyond just kind of like Polaris sneaking in to get some food.
Yeah, I mean, they mention he robs a jewelry store.
Yeah, it's like higher felony level stuff here. We're not talking about just making sure he's eating that night. And even if it was, it would be kind of it would still be justified to a point, but it would be less justified than not Polaris. I kept saying Polaris there. Blink. That's what I meant to say, because we'd heard about her stealing before.
Yeah, I just assume Polaris has done that at some point, but I feel like a lot of them probably have.
Yeah, a lot of them probably have, but a big thing with Blink was that she can't pass for humans, so for her, she can't even get a job. Now, admittedly, if he's a teenager and he can't get a job because he's too young, plus his parents have kicked him out, then yeah, he's still in a position where it's, I get it. Like, someone stealing food because they're hungry is a big, very different.
The point is, he could go into a shop and con the guy into giving him some food, instead of conning the guy into giving him a ton of jewelry.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like, he has like almost the safest way to commit a robbery ever. He can trick people into
so you can't see him.
Yeah. Especially just grabbing food off some shelves. I mean, easy peasy. But
make it like the food's still there. Problem solved.
So of course Reed's like, my daughter's kind of starting to see him. I'm a bit worried about this. This is dire stuff. And so he goes and tells her, and I have typically liked Lauren throughout this show.
Yep. And
her reaction to this news was the most overwritten bullshit thing I think they've ever done with her character.
Yep.
Because for multiple reasons. One, it's just really overacted, and she goes from 0 to 11. No, it's not true. Get away from me! Like, so quick. But on top of that, I just don't buy she cares that much about Wes already.
She's known this guy, a few days? I'm not entirely sure how much time's gone on between
not that I wanted tons and tons of him, but we only met him last episode, and they'd
only just had their first kiss.
Yeah, which honestly, even that felt forced to me, given how early we were in the relationship. And actually didn't have the first kiss. They almost kiss.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
And
the moment was there.
Yeah, Andy cock blocks him. But yeah, that was making me kind of cringe, because I feel like, no, like last episode, all we had with them was she wasn't interested, and he eventually did a little thing where he wanted to show Florence, and it wasn't Florence, and like she sort of smiled on the way out, like, that was kind of cool. But that was it. That was the only leeway they ever had. Yeah. It felt like we had like at least 5 episodes before we got to where they were at the start of this one.
Maybe this is the first time we're really feeling this shorter episode order.
Well, that's the weird thing. It should be tighter with 10 episodes, but I feel like the people writing this show are used to writing for 22.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so they're
Yeah.
used to writing these relationships like this over a longer period. So because over time I wouldn't have any problem with this. It's just that I mean it would still be annoying, I'm sure, but in concept at least.
Time jumps would be fine. Like, I think there's ways to do that, but it legitimately feels like it's a day or two. Because they're still going through the hard drives from what they just stole. So
Right.
and we ended the last episode with Marcos getting the phone call, which he's answering. It's the next day. It's the next goddamn day.
You're right, it is. Yeah.
It's the exact next day. I just don't buy that at that point. And if you want to force the romance on me, fine, but like her reacting that way and being just screaming like a teenage brat, which up until now she's felt kind of mature for her age in that sense.
Yeah,
and she
question it, fine, but this freak out is just weird.
it's weird, it's over the top. It took me out of the moment completely, and it made me groan at a plot that I was already groaning at. Like, the eyes were rolling, the groaning was happening. What else can I do with my body to show that I'm not pleased? I don't know, but all the things were happening. Every little micro sort of aggressive little thing you can do to show that you're not pleased with what's going on, I was doing during this scene. I was that happy. And then, I mean, the rest of it just kind of, like, it plays out exactly what you think. Reed goes and talks to the kid, because Kate's like, hey, she needs a father right now, not a prosecutor. And he goes and talks to him. He's like, I believe in people being good and, paying for the mistakes. Obviously my views on society have changed a little bit recently, but I still believe in that core value. Because honestly, the most interesting thing that comes out of this entire thing for me is when he's talking to a computer girl whose name I do not know. No, that's not Carmen. Carmen's the cartel lady. I don't know. She's not in the main cast list. But the woman who's always at the computer and she's always like reading really quick. You can see her eyes. I'm assuming that's her power. She's sort of like, darting side to side.
I should hope so. Otherwise, she's just weird.
Yeah, otherwise she's just weird. But he asks her, like, oh, so what are the rules when people come in? Do you just take in anyone, regardless of what they've done? And he's like, or she's like, no, I mean, there's lines, like, there's rules. Like, we don't forgive murder or rape or anything like that. Like, that's, and they have to be honest about what they've done, and we'll forgive most stuff. So he assumes that he's lied, and he goes and talks to him. And, it just ends with him, like, willingly going and talking. Although we don't see that. We have this really awkward scene of him coming in while the family's having dinner.
Yeah. This is after Lauren confronts him. Is like, hey, are you lying to me? Are you bullshitting me here? And it's just another awkward scene where I don't know, like it seems that up till now this show's been handling okay, but in this episode, it just wasn't.
It felt forced. I'm like, I don't understand why I'm supposed to care about this guy at all. Like, the plot in this episode with him really hinges on the idea that we want him to be good and we don't want him to be a bad guy, and I don't care if he's a bad guy or not. I really don't care. If anything, I hope he's a bad guy just so we can get rid of him soon, and like, he can be like a one episode. Oh, he's done, he's gone, he's dead, or whatever. Like, that would almost please me more.
I agree. That would have been nice.
But instead, we get this, and there's this sort of soapy montage at the end with the song playing as we're sort of ending all the plots at the same time, and Lauren comes out and kisses him before he leaves. And it's just a nothing moment. They have zero chemistry, which, I don't think I've mentioned that yet, but they do have zero chemistry. I felt nothing between the pair of them their entire time.
I think that wasn't a problem last week because they weren't supposed to have chemistry yet.
Yeah, because she was kind of fobbing him off and saying, no, go away.
Yeah.
But there was zero chemistry, and then he just gets in the van and goes to the other base, because that's the thing, he's leaving to go to the other base, because he feels... And I'm sure we're going to see him again properly, unless the writers realised, oh shit, maybe that's why he's gone so quick. Maybe they just kind of realised, oh, this guy's not working, or this character's not working. Not that they wouldn't have seen the performance or anything like that yet, but
well, this is it. Like, if they realised it wasn't working by the time they'd written the script for episode 6, or whatever, on 7?
This is 7, yeah.
This is 7, right. By the time they'd written the script for episode 7, surely they could have just gone back and rewritten 6. They're not... I mean, this was all produced before it aired. It's not like, where it's running, right?
I don't know if it was all produced before it was aired.
Okay, most of it, though.
Yeah. I think it's still on network schedule, roughly.
Right, okay.
So I'm not sure about that. But certainly it's in the very next episode. It's not like they saw the reaction to episode 6 and then went back and changed it. It was a wee...
Oh, definitely, yeah.
No, it was, it was early on that. So, yeah, no, So we feel like it should have been instant that this wasn't working and they should have done something about it, and instead they've just kind of done what they were going to do, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe I can be hopeful that
I
this.
don't understand what the point of this plot was. Like, in terms of how does this serve the overarching plot of the family? What does this do in the larger story? Nothing.
I mean, it could become something later. Like I can see how what the kids are doing with other people, other mutants. Like, because I mean, I guess the almost interesting part in that confrontation scene with the parents was, oh, you don't want me dating a mutant, is that it? And they're like, no, not at all. He's a criminal. Here's his rap sheet.
Yeah.
like that was almost interesting. It was almost like, because why would they feel that way? It's like, well, she's already a mutant. What does it matter if she's dating another mutant? It's not like it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know.
I don't get it. I don't understand why we sat through this.
Because it's a network show. And we have to have the young, attractive people having romance. That is the answer.
What bullshit.
And it was tedious, and it's not the last we've seen of it. I doubt. So, or I'm sure rather. Not that I doubt. I wish I doubted it. I'd rather doubt it.
Me too.
So, no, I thought that was rough. I mean, honestly, the only thing I really liked in this episode really was just the continuing. Like, I like Kate, like, trying to educate some of the younger kids. Like, she's actually trying to teach them stuff, and you see her with a group.
Yeah.
And I like Polaris is still training the older kids, and she's still doing the. By the way, I need to point out one of the best comments we've ever gotten from last week.
Go on.
In relation to her throwing a saw blade at Lauren and Kate not being very happy about it, someone commented, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a sentinel. That's a fantastic comment. I'm giving props to that one. That's good stuff.
That was good.
I'm a fan of dodgeball. I approve that reference.
That was good. Also, notice in this scene, Reed comes in and isn't freaking out that she's throwing, like, I think it's like bricks at these kids that are blindfolded.
Yeah.
Notice Reed doesn't freak out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You learn later on, whereas Kate seems to have listened up and says, okay, you get to train, but the trade-off is you also have to do regular studies, and she's giving them homework, which I'm not happy about. Which, again, I get why they're pissed at it. Like, I would see this as an opportunity to ditch out on schoolwork, but still, you still have to not be idiots. So here, you learn things that you're supposed to learn.
There's no fixing that with Andy. He's always going to be an idiot.
That's a fair point. Let's hope for Lauren.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
She's only had one rough moment so far. So,
benefit
of the doubt with her.
Then again, she was older anyway, so she arguably had already had more of her school life in the bag.
Yeah.
But,
Yes.
but then,
So she needs it less.
Yeah. So let's go over to Marcos and the cartel and all this stuff, where he's lying to Polaris about where he's going. He's like, oh, I'm just going to get supplies. And he goes off with her. And here's my thing with this, right? So it all kind of boils down to back when he worked for the cartel. And Polaris eventually figures out that that's where he's kind of went because his medallion that he took for good luck was missing. And well, she goes with Dreamer to go sort of track him down. And she witnesses the eventual kind of job that he's there for. And Carmen keeps bringing up, oh, you used to love this. Once you got started, we couldn't stop you until everything was in flames. And I'm like, okay, right, so... And he's like, no, people change. I'm like, yeah, okay, people do change, right, that's fine. So we get to this thing. It's at like a warehouse, outside of a warehouse kind of thing.
Because of course it is, because it's network TV.
Exactly. And they're there to destroy all these drugs that this other rival cartel or gang or whatever are transporting. And she's like, you're up. And also, I love that this gang, this cartel, all put on bullet... I felt like it was a scene from like a cop show where all the cops were getting ready.
Didn't it?
Like, they're all putting on these vests, and I'm like... What is this? Like, NYPD Blue all of a sudden?
Cartels are organised now.
Apparently they are, yeah. So they go in, and it's okay. Marcos, you're up, and he goes in and he starts just setting fire to all the product. And once he gets started, he sort of starts smirking, and I was like, well, don't tell me just because he sets one thing on fire, he's getting this taste for the destruction that he used to have. And he's walking away from the flames, and like Carmen it's just a kiss in the cheek, and Polaris is off. She's arrived off at the side. He doesn't know she's there, and she's watching. And I was actually worried she was about to kiss him on the lips, and I thought it was going to be a proper witnessing the make out scene.
I did too, but he's got such a swagger on him, hasn't he? When he walks away,
he's like, yeah, I'm powerful. I just set fire to things.
I don't know if they're trying to go down the like you just said there, he just enjoyed setting fire to stuff through, or if it's supposed to be, oh, when he uses his powers, he leans into this personality sort of thing. Like, it kind of affects him. I don't know which way they're going with it.
Either way, I don't like it.
No, me either.
Either way, I was rolling my eyes as he was like, just had this look in his face as he was getting into the car. And he seemed okay with Polaris afterwards. Of course, she brings up everything after. I was almost worried she was going to keep lying to him and just pretend she didn't know. But she lets him get all of his lies out the way just so she can like throw it in his face like 10 seconds later. So at least from her side of it, I like it because she actually sort of
Yeah, she's not dragging it out.
yeah she sort of went with the right tactics. She let him put his foot in it a bit more, and it's like, no, screw you, asshole. I know what you're.
Yeah, it was like one last chance.
Yeah. And that was okay. I mean, Polaris was probably the MVP of the episode just because I even liked like after the training before she leaves and she's like, "Hey Andy, let's try and not have any structural damage next time." And he's like, "I can't promise anything," and she just gets a smirk in her face, like, "Yeah, well, I can appreciate the destruction."
Yeah. And her hanging the guards by the gun straps was pretty cool.
Oh, it was okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I thought she was going to use her powers to open the gate. I mean, I was going to be simpler than that.
I mean, she probably could have done, but she didn't need to.
Yeah, she was going to question them. Maybe if the guards said they were still there, perhaps.
Then she would have done so they get in, yeah. But they didn't need to go in, so.
Absolutely. So no, fun stuff. But that's kind of my only point, like, because the rest of this plot, like, I'm just, like, I don't care about Carl. I don't care about this. Oh, will he go back to his old life? They've not made it interesting. The moment we saw this cartel stuff in like episode 4 or 5, we didn't really like it. So them leaning into this more, and the idea that he's actually tempted to like it and wants to be part of it.
That bothers me. I don't mind them doing the cartel stuff and him begrudgingly going along with it and trying to find a way out again. I can see interest in that. This here, where it's like, oh, he actually likes it. I don't want this at all. It
goes back to the forced drama. We're talking about the other stuff. Yeah. And obviously it sets up one of the things we love in TV shows, which is a love triangle, where Carmen might actually be kind of a triangular person here.
Yeah, it's getting there, isn't it?
Yeah. And, well, I mean, Polaris doesn't outright, like, suggest that when she's talking to him, but you can see it going down that path. Like, the way they keep doing it, and the way Carmen keeps kind of, like, being all sultry in front of him and stuff. Like,
yeah, and like I said, we see they've got a history and, all this stuff. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I also feel like Carmen's very two-dimensional. She's just kind of this typical sultry ex.
Who just happens to run a cartel.
Who happens to run a cartel. It's so network TV. So that sucks. And then on top of that, we also have Johnny goes hunting after Blink because he wants to get her back. Because then he does. And I was fine with this. I was actually kind of hopeful for this. I was thinking, oh, this could be interesting. Like, him asking for forgiveness for what Dreamer did could actually be a kind of an interesting bond. It could be an interesting friendship almost to get through this. Like,
I groaned during the first scene of it because he just finds her instantly, and I was like, okay, so I was right about last week. Then it was just to get her out of the way.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I buy it just in the sense that his powers kind of lend itself to him finding people quickly.
Does it lend to finding a teleporter?
He did mention it was hard. He mentioned it was hard, but she's trying to find this road that she kept when she was sick, and she kept opening that portal to that one road. She's trying to find that place.
I like that idea.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like, well, why am I obsessed with this place? I don't remember. And it leads to this old foster home that used to take in mutant kids, but specifically ones who couldn't pass for human, ones who looked different like her, and she was there for a while. And they find this place, and Sentinel Services is torn through it. They've shot the couple who, this human couple who've taken these kids in, and there's this. That's basically all it amounts to. But it has this moment at the end where she's really upset, and Johnny hugs her, and it's fine. The first hug's fine because it's like right after finding the bodies and the blood, and it's like, okay, right, emotions are high. But then he hugs her again outside, and there's this look in his face where he's like, is he getting feelings? I feel like he's getting feelings. Just to make this more complicated, that she had fake feelings for him, and now she knows they were fake, but now he's getting real feelings for her. That just complicates things. And it was just, it was cinched for me when he comes back, and Blink walks back in, she's back, and then Dreamer comes up and kisses Johnny, and it's all happy, and then he turns around, and he's got this look of just, oh no, on his face, like this confusion, and I'm like, no, not another love triangle, please no, not the one.
And this one is going to go down the route of, we have to deal with her going through, oh, but if I get feelings now, how do I know it's actually feelings, and how do I know it's not just left over from this memory?
Yeah. which is actually soul destroying, because the other thing Dreamer did, which we thought was going to be fantastic, which was JC's like daughter and having to remember that like she was dead again. That was like a great idea, which they kind of have not really done much with. They kind of just shrugged it. I mean, it's been mentioned again in this episode, but it wasn't like.
Yeah, it's basically he's more of a hard ass now. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
he's still an agent. Like, I feel like that should have put him into like deranged, like I'm going to hunt these assholes down on my own outside the system kind of modus or something like that. Like, there should have been more of a shift in his character. Whereas in this episode, when he's like arguing that this woman comes from the Department of Justice, giving him shit for all these like phone tracing without warrants and whatnot, and I just feel like he's just being himself. Really, like there's not much more to him than there was before.
Yeah, no, I get you. He's pushing a bit harder in the sense that, he's going after more now. But
that's pretty much it. There's not, it doesn't really feel that different. Of course, it leads to the whole thing where the evil Doctor Man's got his mutant there, this woman's about to shut down their entire operation because they're crossing a line, and then this mutant can apparently just make her get sick and die, or not die. She's not dead. But
it sounds like he popped a blood vessel in her brain.
oh yeah, if you take what you said, yeah, because when he phones the doctor afterwards, he's like, "Oh, I'd guessed that a blood vessel popped."
Yeah.
And yeah, I suppose actually, I never took that literally when he said that. I just kind of took that as
I thought, well, if it's a mutant power, he's just literally just pinched the blood vessel.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that probably makes a lot of sense. I just sort of took that as I don't know, like, yeah. Oh, I'd guess this random thing that could have happened kind of thing. Like, but yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's probably exactly that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I thought that was a nice power. Like, just it's a bit more subtle.
Well, here's the thing: can he just pop blood vessels, or is it like he can control blood in general, or is it more of just a sort of straight telekinesis? But
I assume it's straight telekinesis, just with a high level of control.
I feel like that's similar to other characters, though. So I wonder if it's more interesting if he can just like he can mess with.
I feel like telekinesis is a pretty common power as well. It's kind of a staple, isn't it?
It is a staple, but I feel like we already have like multiple people who can move. Maybe not everything. Like Polaris can only move metal. Like other, Lauren can shove things with her like sort of wind creations and stuff. But like,
well, yeah, that's how this guy would differentiate from, like, say, Lauren. Like, because she can only do things outside of the body. She has to have air, unless she can figure out a way to push the blood around. But that'd be cool.
She mentioned she can start to do it with water. She's been practicing, so
yeah. So unless she can do it with the blood inside the body, that would be pretty cool. Not gonna lie. But this guy, he just he can move anything, but he does it subtly. He doesn't, it's nothing extravagant. It's just an internal pinch of a blood vessel.
It may be. It's just less interesting to me if it's just telekinesis, because I feel like the X-Men.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Get tons of them,
You do, which is why I think it's the most likely.
It probably is, but I'm hoping for something more specific. And at the end, it's like, okay, we're going to use mutants. We're going to put a spy. I was thinking all episode there was going to turn out to be a spy already in the Resistance.
There was already one there, yeah. I was hoping it was going to be Wes.
And it's funny because I feel like, on the one hand, that's really cliche and tropey. But on the other hand, I feel like it'd be more interesting than just them getting into this generic freezer at the end. Well, not freezer. I'm thinking Terminators here for some reason. But they go into this room at the end, and there's just like a bunch of their mutants that they've got under their control, just standing about in their underwear. It's like, okay, let's pick one. And that's kind of how we end the episode. Yeah. So just to go back to that stupid montage before this last scene, where you see like Marcos gets a text saying, "Oh, you did good today. It's nice having you back." And I'm like, "Oh, go away." The kiss with Wes, "Oh, go away." All of it. It was just all a bit.
I'm starting to not enjoy this show.
I did not enjoy this episode. There was very little, if anything, that I liked in this one. So
yeah, I'm concerned.
It sucks to be going downhill at this. Obviously, we're close to the end of the season now, so we will finish this season. But it's the kind of thing where if we come back for season 2 and it feels like it's still... I mean, that's the thing. It could pick up. The last 3 episodes could be like, no, we're back to business. But if it continues on this trend and then season 2 starts off the exact same way, it would be... That would be when it's in cancelled territory for us.
The problem is the things it's setting up as, the plot threads going forward are the things that we're really not interested in. Yeah,
it's picking a lot of things we don't care about to focus on.
It makes me concerned for these next 3. Whereas before, last week it was like, oh, it could be just a dud. I'm sure we'll be back to, something good after.
Yeah.
Whereas this I'm going, we've got to get through that. We've got to get through this. And, all these things that have got to be done in the next few episodes. I'm like, ugh.
And I think I want to stress that any of these plots could actually be fine, but the writing's so kind of like surface level and sort of forced network level TV style that it just doesn't really land. Like, it's just kind of groan inducing. Whereas like this weird love triangle where one had feelings, like fake feelings, and then like realized they were fake, and then but then the other person gets feeling that could be interesting. There's potentially, like, you know, if you give that to the right writer, that could actually be something. But in a network TV show, all I'm seeing is the tropes and the cliches and the.
Well, that's the problem. So far, they haven't really subverted any tropes or cliches.
No, they've just kind of.
They've been decent up till this point. You know, like they've played some of the tropes, but they've been acceptable. But they've still been there.
Yeah, they've just kind of leaned into them.
Yeah,
it's a shame. Oh, we didn't even mention the flashback scene because there wasn't much to it this week. It was just the first time Marcos comes to see Johnny and Polaris in a diner. So, yeah.
It was. I think that was the first time where I'm feeling like this flashback at the start of every episode might become a problem. You know, like, just it's not too bad because it's only one scene, but more just the idea of like they're not going to have enough to do every episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point of it was like the first time him and Polaris met, and you know, Carmen kept, oh, you just cared about the green-haired girl. It wasn't about anything else. It wasn't this just cause or anything like that.
Right, and I get it, but I felt like I didn't need to see that moment at all. Like, I got everything in the relationship already through just, you know, present day interaction and context.
Not even that previous flashback they had when they.
And that too, yeah.
Yeah, that was much better and gave us much more than this one did. And I guess it's just the idea that it's questioning Marcos's commitment to the resistance. This is when he joined it, and then the rest of this episode was like, oh, do you really want to be there? But unfortunately, it was just, you know, I used the word tedious last week to describe some of these awkward scenes, and I feel like this episode was 95% tedious. Which is a real shame. So hopefully next week picks up, but obviously the concern is that a lot of what they're setting up is what we don't like. So, but hey ho, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mild_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mildfuzztv. You can do that over there, but otherwise that is us. So thank you once again for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Have you got any vanilla?